Every year on 10th of December, the world celebrates Human Rights Day, the very day when in 1948, the UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This year marks the 74th anniversary of the adoption of the UDHR and the 72nd Human Rights Day. On this occasion, we bring to you some of the worst human rights crises that have occurred during recent times. But before that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Oneindia. First, the Nigerian operation by Boko Haram. Nigerian children have been becoming the first victims due to the conflict between Boko Haram and the military. Many crimes are being committed by both sides of the party, violating international human rights, leading to devastating and long-term consequences. The crime includes abduction of kids by Boko Haram, forcing young boys to join military forces, and girls are being victimized to sexual assault. Boko Haram is an organization trying to enforce its own laws and changing the country into an Islamic state. A ghastly case of the kidnapping of Chibok girls had taken place in 2014 when 276 schoolgirls were kidnapped by Boko Haram. Degrading treatment of regular civilians by terrorist groups under the Boko Haram has been exercised at mass levels. Uncountable number of people were internally displaced, especially children and minors who were separated from their families. Second, China's re-education camps. China's ill treatment of its minorities is what catches the attention of human rights activists and international law. The Xinjiang camps have always been criticized for alleged human rights abuses like rape, torture, assault and even execution. One of the most prominent genocides recorded is the Uyghur genocide in these camps. Uyghurs are a Turkish minority group which most of these camps are composed of. Due to this minority's beliefs and their small contribution to the ethnic composition, they are sent to these camps to re-educate themselves, where the camp authorities use inhumane methods of torture to mold their religious beliefs. In fact, a groundbreaking UN report published on August 31st this year said the Chinese government has committed abuses that may amount to crimes against humanity, targeting Uyghurs and other Turkish communities in the Xinjiang region. Third, the Syrian refugee crisis. The war in Syria has been going on since 11 years now. The Syrian armed forces are responsible for unlawful killing, including that of children, of torture on civilians. Collective punishments have also been practiced on rebellion groups and people committing political crimes. Arbitrary arrests have been happening on a massive scale, along with enforced disappearances and kidnappings. Women and children who are kidnapped are either sexually assaulted or trafficked and sold for forced labor. Dissatisfied by Bashar al-Assad's presidency, protests demanding his resignation had erupted nationwide. This led the regime to take up arms to first defend themselves and then later to get rid of security forces which were claimed to be foreign-backed terrorists by the president. The violence led to hundreds of rebel groups to fight back, and this descended into a civil war. Since then, over 380,000 people have lost their life, along with casualties like infrastructure destruction, poverty and illegal immigration on the refugee part. The Syrian refugees during the COVID-19 pandemic have seen their worst life being led right in front of their eyes. Due to economic depletion, not only countries who were refusing to give them refugee status, but also countries which were accommodating Syrian civilians are now intolerant to them. Next is Africa's migrant crisis. Poverty, poor governance, recurrent internal instability, mismanaged economies and conflicts have generated the so-called economic migrants and refugees in Africa. Africa's impressive economic growth over the last decade has failed to significantly stimulate employment. Africa's jobless growth implies that more jobless Africans are forced into unsafe, irregular channels of migration to rich countries with all the harmful effects that this entails. In 2015, boat disasters in Mediterranean caused the death of 800 migrants who were en route to Europe. Africa's migrant crisis is not something new, but it has been going on for quite some time now. These were just a few of the numerous human rights crises that have been taking place in the world. We hope you would like this new video. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to Oneindia channel and never miss an update.